everybody. Happy Monday. I don't know why I sound so excited for a Monday. I feel like I'm ready to fall on my face, man.
I'm about ready for some food and some bed too. It has been one of them days.
Oh man,
Badel was saying the same thing.
Yep, so true, so true. Oh, it's good to see you guys. Good to see we're all on that same okay. Whew, it's the end of a Monday. Kind of.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of like the wrong energy for a topic like this, but I'm sure the topic itself will get us a little bit riled up. We'll see.
No doubt. As I was putting it together, I was just like, that's why I kept shooting you guys those messages. Like, man, I listen. Here we go. We'll start it out. My thought process right before as I was putting this together. I love Bitcoin maxis, right? But actually, I don't mind. I don't mind. I should clarify. I don't mind Bitcoin maxis. I just don't like the arrogant ones very much. Anyway, but there's always those ones out there that are like, Bitcoin fixes this. Bitcoin fixes this, and I felt like one of those guys when I was like, Sound Money fixes this, and I purposely chose Sound Money because I believe that there are multiple options. Don't get me wrong, I like the Bitcoin option, but there are some people, let's be honest, like I said, especially once you get around my age and up, that Bitcoin bit what, so
oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's people around. There's people around my age where I'm like Bitcoin, and they're like, "Oh, isn't that scam token?"
See,
I'm like,
see?
Fake internet money is what a lot of people out here normally call it.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
yep. And that's kind of what I felt like when I was putting the stream together. But you know what, BC, I was glad to get your message back, and you said exactly what I was thinking, because I didn't put that in that messages very to you guys, and then you were like, but man, it's the money that's creating this, basically, is what you said. And it's so true. This is a fiat problem that we're going to talk about today.
It's a whole lot deeper than just a fiat problem, and it's something eventually that me and LBC have in the works for a show together on Counter This, where when you have something like we currently have, where it's your petrodollar, you now have to enforce your petrodollar, which now brings in a whole new wave of problems, because you're going to have to enact a forced doctrine of some kind to make this dollar exist and continue to exist. And that's that point that we're in. And we've seen it over and over again in my life. And as long as this continues to exist, we will continue to see these same problems.
I agree. And as much as I hate to say it, for you younger folk, you're going to get to see it through the majority of your lifetime. Just saying. I say that way because, again, old guy interwebs, but it is what it is. Well, shall we go say hello to the chat, guys, before we kick into some of the news we got to chat about?
Yep, sounds good.
All right. Well, let's see. We got Donato Cabrera in the house. Welcome. How's it going tonight? Let's see who else is here. Peter, does that say Peter on my eyes? Oh my good lord.
Peter Mitri.
Hi Peter, how's it going? Welcome, appreciate you being here. And let's see, and then it's you and Loco going back and forth there, so we're good. All right. Awesome.
We got
a bunch of lurkers in the background.
Listen,
lurkers, smack up the like button at least. We appreciate that. Share it out too. We're trying to get more and more people in here and get more and more people active in the chat with these kind of conversations. We try to always tie it back to crypto, but as BC was just saying, there's a lot more going on than meets the proverbial eye. So,
oh, definitely. And I mean, I said it back on my first show on Piper Academy of the year. I was like, welcome to 2026 and reclaiming the petrodollar. And that has a lot of global effects.
Yes.
part of, and not just in your environmental realm, or not in your investment realm, but a lot of it will impact your investment realm. If
Oh
we
yeah.
strengthen the dollar a bit, you're also going to see a little bit of strength in some of your better performing cryptos.
Yep. I agree. 1000%. And Joseph, welcome. Appreciate you being here. What for
Garama and
I have no idea if that's supposed to be some kind of FUD or something. I have no clue. I got nothing. But
maybe it's not English.
That's my second thought. But why don't we kick things off? And again, this particular stream, people always seem to come in a bit later on there. So BC, if you don't mind driving, I would love to let you.
I'm absolutely fine with it. I got the first one pulled up, and this one kind of starts off with the Venezuela news. So that was the first domino to really topple, and we all kind of saw the videos from it and all of that. And so this kind of brings into question what's next, because we saw Maduro get captured. He got extradited to the United States to stand for charges. Well, now the question is who's in charge? And we got a few other articles that'll kind of tie into this. But who's in charge of Venezuela and what happens next? The U.S. has attacked Venezuela and captured its president, Nicolas Maduro, with Donald Trump vowing to run the country until there is a proper transition of power. Venezuela's left-wing leader and his wife were captured at their compound and flown to the U.S. as part of a dramatic overnight special forces operation that also saw strikes on military bases. Maduro and First Lady Celia Flores have since been charged with weapon and drug offenses in New York. Trump also promises U.S. oil companies would move into the country and warned the U.S. would stage a second attack if needed. Venezuela's Vice President Delcy Rodriguez said the government was ready to defend while the attack has prompted international criticisms. What we kind of know so far, this kind of goes into the operation of it. I don't feel like we need to dive.
No, I agree. You got the gist out there, and again, it's been in the news for a while now, so I think people probably got the idea. And again, everything that BC pulls up tonight and we talk about tonight, links are in the description. So by all means, go ahead and check that out on your own. And I want to just shout out Trade Intuitions in the house. Bingo Bangos in the chat, and Chuck Danger, I just saw you popping in there. Welcome, appreciate it. So what do you guys think about this? I it kind of surprised me, I'm not gonna lie. I've got mixed feelings about it, not gonna lie. But it brings me back to, I don't even know if they teach it in school anymore. It brings it back to you remember the Monroe Doctrine? I don't even know. Do they still teach that like in high school or whatever?
I'm pretty sure they just gloss over it. Like I learned it, but I'm sure that a lot of people I went to school with already forgot about it, or like in one ear, out the other, or it's probably not as focused on. I'll have to ask my girl's son. He's in middle school, so
there you go. There you go. I'd be interested to know if they even still teach that. And Jesse, see you. Jesse, emojis in the chat if you're on my channel. That's what this reminds me of. This whole, he talks about Greenland, and I think we'll probably end up touching on that somewhere here in this discussion as well. And then here we are grabbing Venezuela's president, and we're basically blockading the country and all this other stuff. It's so Monroe Doctrine-esque, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think?
Especially since they've talked about a lot of this just is kind of bringing back the power in the Western Hemisphere, where a lot of why he got captured seems to be more about the petrodollar than anything else, because there was 300 billion barrels of oil that were ready to hit the market and be sold in Chinese yuan. So that would have been a big shakeup to the petrodollar. You're talking about the dominance that we have would have been greatly diminished, and it's already been greatly diminished since we instituted the petrodollar in 1971.
Yes.
And we just couldn't stand for it, especially when you're talking about that's on the verge of economic collapse. If you really start seeing that diminish a whole lot further, we have 56% dominance around the world.
Yeah. And yep. Keep going. I'm not even going to interrupt you. You're saying what I already said.
Oh, yeah. Well, 3 hours before that was the meeting with a Chinese ambassador and a Russian ambassador to sell these barrels of oil.
Yep.
And we already saw what's happened in just my lifetime when anyone has tried this. We've seen it in Africa with trying to found a gold-backed dollar. We've seen it in the Middle East where we reinstitute our hegemony to really get our petrodollar strength there, since that was the main founding of it, and the force behind it was the AEU to be able to actually sell most of this oil in the US dollar.
Yep. Yeah. That's how they were able to stabilize the dollar for this many, I mean, what, damn near 60 years at this point. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'll get the air quotes going. Right. Exactly. With for almost 60 years, given, even though we've seen what's happened with the purchasing power, you know what I mean? But yeah, you're spot on the money, man. Spot on the money. And anybody paying attention can, well, I would assume, can see it, although they do try to hide it, man. And they've brainwashed at least one, I'd say 2 generations of people with regard to this. Like, people don't even question it anymore. I mean, I get it, don't get me wrong, everybody's just trying to survive, but like, you tell people this stuff and they look at you. It's like you just tilted the pinball machine. There's a reference for you old people. You tilted the pinball machine, I don't know.
They really don't even try to hide it though.
Well, like we
founded this in 1971 when we took the dollar off of the gold standard. And then we, with the UAE, decided that all global sales of oil were going to be done with the US dollar. And then since then, we have had to have a military of enormous strength, which is why we are the biggest part of NATO. That's basically it. We are everyone's military, and it's basically to enforce the petrodollar.
No doubt. I agree. Badel, you want to weigh in anything on this before we go on, because we've got so much more that all ties, in my opinion, kind of together there.
I just still don't understand why we went in there and captured him and his wife. Like, I get it, the drug charges in New York, but come on, for us to go into another country and take their president and first lady, there's got to be something more than that.
Yep. And I think BC's kind of started highlighting it out there quite a bit. You know what I mean? Because I'm with you. It's not about you're violating sovereign borders. Could you see somebody trying to come into the U.S. and take control? Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
Well, like, so that's an argument I've had several times, where it's like, if the world didn't recognize him as a sovereign leader of his country because he lost his election, so what sovereignty are you really destroying here? And then the other part of that is I think it's Title 5. That's the laws of which we had the ability to do so. A lot of the world just doesn't really like it because of these implementations that it kind of it tilts your hand. And like, they're not so angry about the fact that we got a cartel leader that was running a country out of the country. They're worried about what happens next.
Yep. And I was just about to say, I see you highlighted that comment. Yeah. Tell Gaddafi that.
This guy gets
Everybody remember Muammar Gaddafi? Yeah. Yeah.
This guy gets it.
Yeah, exactly. And welcome, Dopey Bull, by the way. I don't know what. How about we jump on to the next one and try and tie all this together, BC? What do you think?
So there was a little bit more on that
Oh,
last
go
article.
ahead.
So
Yep.
Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, who was part of Maduro's inner circle, is now the interim president after being sworn in by the nation's Supreme Court. On Saturday, she demanded Maduro's release, saying he was the only president, despite Trump's claim that the U.S. would run Venezuela until a safe and proper judicious transition was possible. Maduro's allies remain in charge. So this will tie into that next article here, because Trump seeks $100 billion for Venezuelan oil, but Exxon bosses say the country is uninvestable. So a lot of that ties into who's still in power right now, because it's not a transition of power. It's still the same crony government that was there in the first place. It's all the people that he raised up with him in his drug operations to run the country. So the cartel is essentially still in charge of Venezuela. And that's why you're seeing this. We'll get down to the actual part of it. One of the things the United States gets out of this will be even lower energy prices, Trump said on Friday. But the oil bosses expressed caution. Exxon's chief executive, Darren Wood, said, "We have had our assets seized there twice. And so you can imagine to re-enter a third time would require some pretty significant changes from what we've historically seen and what is currently the state. Today, it is uninvestable. You're dealing with us directly. You're not dealing with Venezuela at all. We don't want you to deal with Venezuela," Trump said. So there's still a lot up in the air with this. You know, they want to get in there, really kind of take control of the oil, keep that petrodollar hegemony going. But you've got the oil companies who are supposed to be doing this for them not wanting to step back in there. You know, like they said, they've already had everything all of the money that they had dumped into Venezuela to drill oil. All of that stuff has been taken from them, not once, but twice.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. They got kicked in the nuts, and then when they got back up, they got punched in the face. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Monetarily speaking. Yeah. Exactly. So I get their hesitance, I guess. You know.
And I mean, it's definitely understandable, especially when you still have the cartel in control. And I would be very hesitant to do the same thing. You know, why would I put my money back into this country that is still extremely unstable?
Yep. And I appreciate Donato's comment here, but my question is, are they really trying to stay neutral? I don't know. It's about neutrality. I think it's more about like, I'm not gonna. They kick me, they punch me. I'm not gonna let them shiv me this time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Well, I mean, especially with how unstable that country has been since its modern inception. You know,
right?
Venezuela has never been a super stable country, so I would also kind of want the same guarantees that there is some safety, that U.S. boots are on the ground if I'm going to be dumping $100 billion into this country to secure the petrodollar.
So I wasn't planning on talking about this, but as you're mentioning this stuff, it reminds me that, like, wasn't it like maybe 8-10 years ago when, you know, crypto was really kind of starting to get out there? Didn't Venezuela come out with a petrodollar or something like that, or a petro coin that was tied to their oil, if I remember correctly? I'm pretty sure they did.
They might have. Honestly, I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to.
I'm gonna have to go back and BC, man, I was kind of figuring you'd been all over that. I figured, you know, that listen, again, old man, I'm trying to dig back into those cobwebs there, and that sounds pretty familiar to me. And maybe somebody in the chat can clarify for me and put that out there. But my thought process for bringing that up was, so what do you think with Trump's heavy involvement in the cryptocurrency space? Do you see him trying to pull this whole situation that way again, or do you think it's strictly about US dollar?
I mean, mostly I would say it's about US dollar, but like you also got to think he's got a stable coin. So he benefits from a stronger dollar in the crypto space no matter what.
That's true. That's true.
And then
times have changed.
They've also got they've got their wrapped Bitcoin, they've got their Ethereum. The US dollar doing better will eventually help all of these other things too. There's a big correlation between how the dollar performs and how these crypto projects do.
And that's the way to do it there, Trade Intuition. Bingo bangos in the chat. That's right. You kick them in the nuts and you punch them in the face. There it is right there. Yeah, absolutely. We've had some people come in. Let's I see you highlighted a few things here. Let's see who we got. Jay Violet in the house. Appreciate you being here, Jay Violet. Welcome. Chuck Danger saying I maybe agree BlackRock has their hands in both pockets. Yeah, well, you know what?
Yep.
Right about that, Chuck Danger. I'm 100% behind you in that comment. Absolutely. Of course they do. They got their hands in everything, literally everything.
Oh yeah.
Johnny December in the house. Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Did I miss any other comment? Oh, what's this?
Green Man's pretty stable.
Now, didn't Marco Rubio just go to Denmark to talk some kind of talks or something? Didn't that just happen like today or yesterday? I thought I heard something about that.
I honestly have not been up with the news today because I was not feeling well. So
okay,
could have happened. But if it did, I'm sure I will talk about it tomorrow morning on my show.
Listen, I've been I've had my own things going on today, but then trying to keep up with everything, it's been like you taking that water from the pipe instead of the hose. It's kind of been trying to get it like that today. Oh, and is Chuck Danger saying, so that was El Salvador that did that?
There we go.
Okay, thank you, Chuck Danger. Appreciate that. Okay. Sorry, BC or Badel, do you want to throw anything else in there before we move on? Because we still got a couple of articles to go over here.
No, just the whole thing about making, I want to say electrical, but there was something about making electrical prices cheaper. Maybe it wasn't electrical.
Energy prices, which then also it would help electrical costs as well.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, we're trying to save us on energy costs, but yet us consumers, are we ever going to see that savings? Probably not.
No.
I mean, it really depends. It depends on how much your dollar is strengthened, how much of this oil we actually are using to produce our energy. There's other factors that kind of go into this. The nuclear space has been going crazy.
Absolutely.
So that I feel will help our energy costs more than anything.
Right.
I agree with you, but I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I can tell you in this area, looking at like my kids' electricity bills and my own electricity bill, the delivery charges have like doubled. The delivery charge. Let me use my air quotes because please. Anyway, have like doubled, and I mean, I'm talking like it's more than you actually use in electricity. There's a lot of fugazi things going on with regard to this whole situation. And again, I'm trying to keep the language in check here. If this was crypto on the rocks, I'd already be swearing. But anyway.
No, I mean, like that electrical price, that's about the same for me. Like it's like a 48-52 split. Like it's not that big of a difference. You might as well call it that. For every $3 for gas you're buying, they're going to charge you $6 for, and you're like, well,
why? I'm forgetting it. Yeah.
So I mean, like your energy costs might go down, but they might just at the same time be like, okay, so delivery costs more. Because, they're not going to want to take less money.
Oh, no,
Hell
never.
to the no. How else? They extort it from us. It's that simple. Oh, good Lord. Here we go. I can feel the blood pressure. BC, you better go on to the next article. I can feel.
Right.
Can you guys see the vein popping out of my neck right now? Anyway, go ahead.
Well, we did have this comment here with them.
Okay.
With them bringing the Federal Reserve to court, it adds a degree of defiance. Do you think they're betting big on the dollar, the Trump organization? Definitely, especially since a lot of this has been more over the fact of, hey, you weren't doing exactly what we wanted to bring some strength back into the dollar, even though that also probably would have hurt the dollar. But if this was the game plan all along, that there was other means to strengthen the petrodollar, which is, was a big part of their plan, because they tried this without force. They tried this through the tariffs. We tried to tariff India. We tried to punish a bunch of the countries that were buying oil from Russia, using the yuan to purchase oil as well. So we tried to bring some of those to the table. The one that I really thought they were going to go for was Brazil. They didn't. Instead, they decided that they were going to punish Venezuela, which, I mean, they've got the big oil reserves. But if you can take Brazil off of the table, it also minimizes a lot of that BRICS strength that they're trying to battle.
There you go. And to the point, BRICS, to the point of you were making earlier with the idea of US dollar dominance just slowly being eroded away, back that with China trying to back their yuan with gold and so on and so on. Yeah, I see what you're laughing at. I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. Yeah. I appreciate that. Oh man.
Yeah, I was gonna tag him, but he's on mobile, so I gotta find which mobile one he's on.
We'll bring it up right here. We just did. We got it, man. We got you. Yeah. It's true.
No,
I know a guy that knows.
I watched some videos back when they were first coming out with the smart meters.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, if you have a strong enough magnet, it might do some stuff. And I go, I got some pretty strong magnets. Should I try it? But I'm like, I don't know if I want to go a few days without power just over something that takes
yeah, just for that, right?
Well, but I mean, but then you could have free power. So
yeah, well,
you don't gamble big.
No free power. They get a notice, I'm sure, within about 10 seconds of that.
Oh yeah,
The delivery charge will drop. they charge Badel double. You remember that wasn't that a commercial, the double or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and username in the house. Welcome, username emojis in the chat if you're on my channel. All right. We gotta go into the next one that also ties into Venezuela. Is that the one you got queued up there, BC?
Yes, sir. So this next one was 4 tankers that left Venezuela in dark mode amid U.S. blockade are back in its waters. And this is one of those ships. I believe this one was one that was owned by Russia. So even though there was this capturing of Maduro and all of that to keep the oil from being sold, they were still trying to sell the oil. They were trying to get that money in. And 4 of those tankers that had departed in early January in dark mode, or with their transponders off amid a strict U.S. blockade, are now back in the South American country's waters, according to state company PDVSA and monitoring service tackertrankers.com. So kind of keeping this under wraps for now. A little bit of oil that did not manage to hit the markets. All good for the United States and the petrodollar. And it's really part of that force doctrine that I was talking about in the beginning that you have to use if you want to keep this petrodollar going. And this is going to entail a lot more force going forward. We've already been through a whole lot in several countries, and this is just going to be the latest one, and we will continue to see this unfold until we actually are able to get our hands on some of this.
Yep. Nope, and around it. Yes, I agree. And I brought up username's comment here. Yes, dark mode. You know that we're talking transponders here, not cookies. But you know that's all right. I've missed username. I've missed seeing them in some of the streams here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you, BC. It's just it's an ever increasing amount of escalation. You know, around the globe, and I gotta say, predominantly by the U.S. Hence the whole idea of keeping the U.S. dollar or petrodollar hegemony, like you mentioned. It's like I said, I got very mixed feelings with regard to that.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, and it's really putting people in a position where it's like you either use the petrodollar or this is what could happen to you. And
exactly.
In some ways where it's like it'd be nice, since I am an American, to live in an American empire where, you know, our dollar is doing well, but also at the same time the repercussions of using force are never positive. And this is what also creates more people that want to stand up against the petrodollar, against the US. We create our own enemies.
Yes, I couldn't have said that any better. That's absolutely exactly correct. And now you got to look at it from different lenses here. The short-term lens, does it help the US? Probably. You know what I'm saying? But when you take it out like over a decade or a generation, no, man, you just, again, you kicked yourself in the nuts this time. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't need somebody else to do it for you. Exactly. Right there, what he just said.
Well, and it's been said multiple times, but tyrants create their own enemies who end up rising up to replace them. And that's just the trend that we've seen over and over and over again. It happened with Rome. You created your own enemies with the Gaul, who ended up rising up and overthrowing the whole thing. And that was just over kind of some similar things. You know, your dollar is weak. We need more imports to we need more goods to be able to export. Whereas in this is, we need our debt to be able to export to other countries so that our economy stays afloat.
Yep. Absolutely.
Similarities, but different. And by using force, you will always create your own enemies who will always put in as much effort as you've put in and more to topple you. And we saw it in the Middle East. We've seen it in Africa. And now we're going to see it all over again in South America.
Well, and yeah, across the world, across the globe. I mean, because it's not, again, we mentioned briefly, or I mentioned briefly, a look at the whole Greenland situation. You know what I'm saying? You think that, like, I mean, I get it, Denmark, whatever, but like, you know, notwithstanding that, again, what would it be if somebody decided to come and say, yeah, well, you see that Hawaii thing right there? Yeah, we're going to take that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's closer to us than it is to you. You know, I mean, yeah, it's a problem you are creating yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and all empires fall eventually, and this one will be no different. And it just depends on how extreme you kind of want the downfall to be. And however extreme you are in creation is how extreme the downfall is going to be.
Well, and that is what plays, in my opinion, to this whole situation with like the petrodollar, as we're talking about it today. You know what they're doing with this whole current system, this current economic system of thievery, because that's basically what it is what's creating this new resurgence, hell, right here in the United States, for stuff like sound money. That's why you got people like Daniel Diaz running around state to state trying to make gold and silver legal tender again. That's why you've got things like Bitcoin that is just getting adopted left and right and slowly infiltrating the TradFi system, Wall Street, etc. And what's going to happen? They're building the rails. Right now, it's stable coins primarily, right? They're building these rails behind the scenes to run these stable coins to keep their dinosaur alive a little bit longer. But what's going to eventually end up happening? These new things are going to run on these new rails, and the old system is just going to, and that's it. Okay, rant over. Man.
So we did have this other one. So this kind of ties into it, where I was saying that there's been a lot of sanctions that we've been doing to try to bring people to the table using the US dollar to buy oil to keep our petrodollar strong. And here, Trump warns of higher tariffs on India over Russian oil purchases. And the United States could raise tariffs on India if New Delhi does not meet Washington's demand to curb purchases of Russian oil, President Donald Trump said on Sunday, escalating the pressure on the South Asian country as trade talks remain inconclusive. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a good guy.
Nailed it.
He knew I was not happy, and it was important to make me happy, Trump said aboard Air Force One. They do trade, and we can raise tariffs on them very quickly, Trump said in response to a question on India's Russian oil purchases. India's Commerce Ministry did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Trump's comments follows months of trade negotiations with the U.S., doubled import tariffs on Indian goods to 50% last year as a punishment for its heavy buying of Russian oil. Indian markets reacted on Monday with the information. Technology stocks, they're nifty, falling 2.5% to its lowest in more than a month as investors worry that strained trade relations could further a delay of U.S.-India trade deal. So we've really tried in multiple ways to get these countries to the table, to keep that petrodollar strong.
Yep.
And this brings more tensions to that global stage. They've already got 50% tariffs. How much higher is that going to go? Is this going to be the new China negotiation where it's like 156% tariffs on you?
Right. Well, that only matters if the Supreme Court rules in his favor at this point, because didn't that ruling, everybody's bracing for that this past Friday, but they delayed it or whatever. They didn't put out the ruling yet. 14th. So
it'll be the 14th.
Oh, it is the 14th. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting that out there. I was unaware of that. So there we go. So that all that article matters only if.
Well, so it matters on part of it because the sweeping flat tariff of 10% is what they're really kind of trying to fight with. Whereas it's like, you can't tariff the entire world. This is unacceptable. But if you're doing this for other means where it's like we're trying to have a negotiation between a single country, that's where your president actually does have a little bit of power, but you also kind of have to go through different channels now. So you do have your majority in Congress still. So you would be able to kind of potentially still have these tariffs go into effect on singular countries.
Okay, but that's more like a treaty. I know that's probably not the correct word there, but
like a trade deal type thing.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Then a hey, I'm gonna just throw tariff on you. Yeah, tariff.
You get a tariff. You get a tariff. You get
exactly.
a tariff.
He's throwing a tariff on them because they're dealing with another country for oil and not us. I mean, they have the right to do that. I mean, any country has the right to trade with any other country. Why are we putting our foot down and going, no, you can't do that? Because
US dollar.
Yeah.
See, I think
that's literally it. Which I agree with you, because I'm very libertarian. And if a country, like, that's where I was like on the fence about Maduro, because it's like, isn't it that own country's obligation to rise up and take your leader out of power? Isn't it isn't it that country's own decision of who they want to do trade with? And if your only export is going to be your debt, eventually people aren't going to want to do business with you. And if you want to keep the dollar strong, maybe offer something to the world that actually makes them want to use the dollar. You know, something other than, hey, here's the barrel of a gun, here's the US dollar, use this to buy this.
See, I think that beside the whole petrodollar thing, that when he's talking about these kind of things with Russia, I feel like part of that has to do with Russia and Ukraine. That's a part of his way to do a little bit of arm twisting with Gorbachev. Oh my God, I just flashed back to the 80s. Yeah. Old man back to the 80s. Wow. Oh my God.
Really, old man interwebs over here. Your age is showing, sir.
I think it's time for me to go to bed now. But anyway, so anyway, dealing with that whole Russia Ukraine situation, you know, didn't he? He was. I think he just came out with some tweet about, you know, it's time for. Old man interwebs, exactly. To have whatever Ukraine's president, and again, I'm having an old man moment there. Whatever his name is, to hold an election, right? It's hold an election. It's enough at this point. So anyway, but I don't know. I feel there's in that arena anyway, there's a little more at play than just the petrodollar.
Oh, well, I mean, there's multiple factors in that one, but like the biggest part of that is the fact that Russia has been trying to join BRICS, and alone China's really not gonna put a giant dent. Alone, Russia's not really gonna put a giant dent. Brazil alone isn't gonna put a giant dent. But when you have these countries all together that are like, hey, we're going to do what you were doing, but instead we're going to use this currency. And you have your largest beef producer in the world. You have one of your largest country that has oil refineries in the world. Your biggest producer of goods in the world, all coming together. You know, if you want to keep your dollar strong, you're going to have to do something.
Yep. And India is already part of that coalition as well. So and listen, I'm with you two guys. You know, that would be like somebody else telling the United States who we can do business with. I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? That countries need to decide who their dance partners are as far as trade is concerned. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And, you know, that's why, even though it might hurt us, maybe we need a little bit of pain to come back and sit down and be like, hey, what we've been doing worked for a little while. It didn't work very well. We were really kind of brutal about how we handled things. But maybe let's sit down and come up with a new idea of how we actually provide value to the world besides, you know, just being the world's military in coincidence with making sure that oil is bought with the US dollar.
There you go. There you go. And I just want to shout out Automatic Beats. Appreciate you being here. If I didn't already, welcome. There he is. Automatic Beats is in the house. And I think I just saw, yep, there he is. All set. Welcome. Appreciate you guys jumping on in here. I think we got one more thing to go over, don't we, BC?
Yes, sir, we do. And then
right.
this kind of ties into what's been going on with Venezuela and what might happen next. So, Puerto Rico's forgotten military bases become crucial in Trump's plan for American dominance. And this one kind of touches on something that you brought up earlier. So, one day after the United States attacked Venezuela and captured its ruler, Nicolas Maduro, beachgoers on northwestern coast of Puerto Rico heard the rumbling noises of flying military aircraft overtake the peaceful sounds of waves lapping onto the shore. For those in the city known for its surfing and beach life, the sights and roars of fighter jets and Reaper drones were a reminder that just a few miles away, the air facilities of a once shuttered U.S. military base have gained renewed importance in President Donald Trump's plan to assert American dominance in the Western Hemisphere, aka that Monroe Doctrine. While Puerto Rico has long since considered a crucial U.S. military asset because of its location, much of the robust military infrastructure and training facilities established on the island shuttered after the end of the Cold War because of cuts in military spending and local opposition over the environment and health effects of artillery and hardware used in target practice for decades. The forgotten military facilities are now being revived amid Trump's new military push in the Western Hemisphere and his warnings following Maduro's capture of the possibility of new U.S. military attacks in Venezuela.
There you go. Add Greenland into that. Just saying.
Mhm.
I know I keep saying that, but I mean, seriously.
Well, and that's that force doctrine that I was talking about. And this is those we are now arming up at rates that we haven't seen in a little while, all for the petrodollar all over again. Anyone who writes waves lapping is full of poop. Who talks like that besides Badel?
Oh man, that's funny. Okay. Couple of questions, I guess. I'd be interested to see what you guys think. So, assuming that this whole empire building thing, he continues in this regard, keeping this Western Hemisphere as ours, get the hell out kind of scenario. Okay, one, how do you think that plays for the midterms? And two, how do you think that plays when? I'm not even going to say when China decides it's time to go see Taiwan or it's time to go knock on Japan's door. Because what are they going to say? They're going to be like, yo, this is ours. That's yours. Get the fuck out. Oh, there it goes. And you're demonetized. Anyway, but I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
So, I mean, there's two kind of ways to look at it.
I'm aware. Thank you, username.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Exactly.
ECM is old enough to remember when it was actually put into effect. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Nah, that's all right. It was deserved. That's all right. That was good. All right, go ahead. You guys tell me what you think about what I.
So I mean, there's kind of two effects of it, where it's like, how successful is this, and how beneficial is it to the American people? So if this is beneficial, we end up strengthening our dollar. We see some lower energy costs. We have a little more ability to manufacture goods at home if we end up getting Greenland. Because here's the thing: Denmark sold us the U.S. Virgin Islands for $25 million. They don't really have the military might to kind of stand against the U.S. if we decide to do such a thing. It just depends on kind of the backlash, where it's like, how does the left really look at it? How is some of the right that's been wavering on some of these decisions kind of look at it? Is this seen as more of an American first type thing? Is this actually doing anything that benefits America first? Because if not, then you're really going to see that backlash come midterms. And then you're really going to struggle continuing on this mission of bringing the US dollar back to strength and kind of putting in the groundwork to see the US do okay with manufacturing jobs and things like that.
Okay, sounds. I think you're 100% right. Badel, what do you think about that with regard to midterms or regard to like username saying here? And I know he put this in earlier. I don't know that we brought it up, but
yeah, he pretty much put in there what I was going to say is, I mean, besides the whole China basically said in 2027 they're taking Taiwan, but it's like, you know, the whole Russia-Ukraine thing that's been going on for a while, and that was all like, you know, is this going to bring WW3? And then it's like, okay, and then you look at all these other countries that are fighting, and then now the U.S. is just taking over countries by show of force. Like, they're not being nice; they're just going in there and taking it.
But it's like,
this is ours now until you follow what we say. Then you can have it back, maybe. But
you can have it back, maybe. No, that's well put. That's about right. Yeah,
and I think it's just maybe America is just spreading its forces.
Yeah, eventually
it's really what we're seeing globally. It's like what empire is about to win?
Yeah.
Is it going to be the US? Are we going to have the US dollar really being that strong force? Or are we going to see like Russia and China and their partners kind of take that forefront of the world? And for the most part, it has been very boots. It hasn't really been boots on the ground.
No boots on the ground. Yep.
And because for now, I think everyone wants to avoid that World War III because that benefits absolutely nobody. Nobody wins in that scenario. So as long as we can keep that, and this is more of a like empire building here and empire building there, and then we kind of clash on the economy side, who's going to come out on top, who built the strongest economy with their partnerships and the territories that they seized, and how well are you going to be able to build AI? Because a lot of these moves are not just about the petrodollar. Greenland, that's all about the materials needed to build AI and getting Russia and China out of there, because that is a big port for moving goods around that just has Russian ships and Chinese ships, which could also be used as a waypoint to kind of, get into our area of influence.
Yep. Badel, you didn't mention, or if you did, I missed it, about the elections. What do you think? Does this hurt or help the keeping the majority for the election cycle coming up here in a few months?
I feel right now it probably helps, but I see little things that could backfire that would not help so much. Like if we go back to that one picture of that ship, that went out, didn't get captured, but now it's back. And like you see all that rust on the front of it. Okay, yes, it could be surface rust, but it's in salt water. Things rust a lot quicker in salt water. So if that tanker is stuck out there for 2 months or 6 months, it may start leaking, or it may just, sink.
Oh, there's so many things that could go wrong. Yeah.
Like how many barrels of oil are on that ship that could go wrong in the next 2 or 4 months, or even the next week that it sits out in the sea? I mean, we saw this a little bit near the beginning, maybe the middle of COVID, like when all the ports were shut down and all those cargo ships were stranded at sea, and we were having to send ships out there just to feed them, give them water.
And maintain integral strength.
I mean, okay, yeah, he stopped the oil from being sold, but if you think about the next 3 months, maybe 6 months, that ship's is it gonna dock? Is it gonna unload? or is it just going to be stuck out in the open waters?
I'm sure we'll hear more going over the next couple of weeks, kind of see how this all plays out. So we might have to retouch on this topic a little bit.
Oh, no doubt.
And
No
you know,
doubt.
it seems to be that this is that year. This is what 2026 is. We're trying to do a little bit more for the strength of the dollar, and we have Donald Trump has about 11 months in which to do so. 11 months into which he can do these actions, but also for us to feel the effect. So he has to act extremely quickly here, because you need to feel the effects of these actions within the next 11 months.
Gives so when you go into the polls,
you got about 3 months to handle business, and normally those effects take about 6 months to help your economy.
At least, at least. And you know, username, you're absolutely right here. Historically, things flip on a midterm. And listen, the TDS is strong here, and couple with that, the fact that if you know a lot of Americans are not happy with this Monroe Doctrine thing he's got going on, well, and like BC said, if they're not feeling like they're better off now than when he came into office, well, then it's a pretty much it's a done deal, baby. We're gonna username's right. Then the next thing it'll be like it was back in his first term, impeachment after impeachment after impeachment hearing. You know, it'll be a gridlocked government again. Well, not that it's super functional now, but like, but it'll be much worse then, in my opinion. All right, I want to ask one more question. One more question with you guys, and get your think about it. So, like we were talking about way back in the beginning, with the Bitcoin Maxi's ideal of Bitcoin fixes this, and or my like with the title "Sound Money fixes this" kind of thing. Do you think it's really true? Does that fix this? And two, how simple do you think it would be to make that transition? I mean, don't get me wrong. I know it's not going to be quick, but like, can we really set it in motion? I guess is the better way to word the question. Badel, what do you think? You start us off this time.
Can you shorten that question a little bit?
Do you think the idea of Bitcoin or sound money fixes this? So in other words, it eliminates all this bullshit we're seeing right now. And two, do you think that what's going on is going to help us set the rails to move in the direction of Bitcoin and sound money?
As much as I would like it to, I don't think that's possible because everything has its own value. And a lot of the time, it's the people that set the value, not necessarily the government. The government may just back the asset, but okay, if I have one Bitcoin, right, and you want to pay $50 for it, but I want 500, somebody else could come in and say, okay, well, I'll give you 250 or 300 for it. It's all just based on what you believe the value is, not.
Well, but do you think what's going on is going to move the economy to say, okay, screw the US dollar and we're going to move to gold, silver, Bitcoin, whatever? Do you think it's
I think they're trying to strengthen the US dollar.
Okay. So you don't think that's going to do it? Okay.
By main means of commodities.
Okay. Fair enough. BC, what's your take, man?
I don't think immediately it has a negative impact on the US dollar, or pushes us towards like a more of a sound money type principle. But if you do see things play out less towards our favor, and you do see China and Russia kind of succeeding in their conquests, then you do kind of start to see some cracks showing. And they are more of a sound money. They are backed by gold, which gives them a little more strength and things like that. As I don't see so much the crypto. To crypto would be more of a like an individual based revolution, as opposed to like just your global dollar switching from US dollar to a gold back one. So the only way to exit the system is for us to is for them to have the force behind them to be able to say no. But at the same time, all of us could exit their system. We have the means available. And so if we kind of take that off of the table before they can even make these decisions, that would be ideal. But I don't think the people are ready for that.
I agree. Unfortunately, I think the people are going to go down with the sinking ship. Yeah, here's the thing. I'm with you guys. I think if things go poorly overall, I think it might help to accelerate people looking for the other option, whatever that other option is. Again, and see, that's the thing. I don't see just one option. I mean, I know this is a cryptocurrency channel. I know we talk about crypto. I think ultimately crypto is like the way it'll go, but like there's always a transition period. And right now you can transition into multiple forms of sound money, including crypto, that takes you outside of their system. And if things go poorly, I think it'll go that way. However, if Trump's gambles pay off, yeah, we're gonna see breaks on all of that, and yeah, it'll be, everybody will just go over the cliff when it goes. In my opinion,
we'll see at least another 10 years of dollar dominance.
Yep, I agree. Well, hell, guys, that was great discussion. That was pretty damn good.
I thought about saying something about last week's topic about all the countries with the crypto taxes.
Okay.
But I couldn't quite think of a proper way to say it. It's like, okay, well, if we start using crypto and then now we have 10,000 pages of transactions we have to submit every year to taxes, that's probably going to drive some people away from crypto.
Yeah, but we're not doing it. They're automatically submitted.
Yeah.
So,
and then that's assuming you're using centralized exchanges and centralized things that can be already tracked, et cetera, et cetera. But again, that might be a whole live stream for another night, because man, yeah, again, wait, where's our little banner there? Yeah, here, not financial or financial or tax advice being laid out right here, right now. There you go.
Yep. Don't go to Badel for tax advice. I would recommend that one.
You know what? I was actually thinking about looking at doing that this year.
Awesome. This guy gets it. This is also not tax advice or financial advice.
You guys, I love it. LBC in the house. Shout out to LBC. Put the waves in the chat, guys.
That was last week's topic, where we might end up being forced to pay that because centralized exchanges within borders of countries will be mandatorily forced to report all transactions.
Yep.
So anytime you send crypto, they will get that information.
Yep. I think it rolled out 2 weeks ago now, a week and a half ago, beginning of the year, in 48 countries, not including the US, of course.
And LBC, take out those last 3 words, and that's my question.
You guys pay taxes? As minimal as I can.
Right, exactly. Hey, that's the way they set the system up, right? Try and pay as little as possible. There it is. Oh man. All right. Well, I mean, we've gone through everything. Appreciate everybody that's hung out here for the last hour. We've gone a solid hour talking about all this. What do you guys want to throw out there as we wrap this thing up?
I don't really have a whole lot, honestly. It's going to be a busy week for me, and I'll just try to get to stuff when I get to stuff. So
there it is. Yeah, you're still in the middle of your transition. Do you got a topic set for Yeah, help me counter this for this weekend. Yep.
So we're not going to be doing lives anymore. We're just going to be doing recordings.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll just be recordings. We were going to do a recording this past weekend, but our guest ended up getting sick. His voice was a little bit messed up, so pushing it to this next weekend. Hopefully we'll be able to drop the video at some point during the week. So we just got to find a time that'll work best, get the best traffic, things like that.
Awesome. I look forward to them. I love your show. You got a great show. So
I appreciate it. Me and LBC do our best.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Okay, so if that's pretty much what you got going on, what about you, Badel? Anything you want to throw out?
Unfortunately, today is over. It was the best day of the week. We had like 50-degree weather and sun from like 7 till 4. Rest of the week is rainy, snowy, and Friday, Saturday is a high of like 13 and 14. So it's like every day from this point on is just going down.
Slowly going down. I get that.
Well, at least you'll be well rested for it.
There you go.
I hope so. I haven't slept really good in the last couple nights. Been too busy doing stuff.
I understand.
I feel that one.
I understand. Just to wrap up for me, and then we'll end the stream. I've got Jar and I live tomorrow night, 6 p.m. For Matrix Money Podcast. Wednesday morning, 11 a.m. the next premiere in the series on Crypto Mindset Minutes. We've been basically breaking down what makes sound money before we move into more deeper economic topics about like what is inflation, et cetera. Anyway, so that's Wednesday, 11 a.m. And then of course this Friday, Crypto on the Rocks at 7 p.m. on the Eastern time zone. That's what I got. And then of course the three of us will be back here to educate you guys next Monday night. Yeah, I say that. You guys usually educate us. I'm just
not sure. You want to hear a little twist of my dryer dilemma on Friday?
Uh-oh.
You know how the tech came on Thursday, ordered the new main board, said we'll be back next Friday.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what showed up at my house today? The main board for the dryer.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like,
I guess, but he's not
Monday. He's not going to be here till Friday. It can't be that hard. Like,
oh God,
oh boy.
But it's like, no, it's under warranty. I was like, when she got home, I was like, hey, you should call them and like tell them to call that tech and be like, hey, the main board's at the house.
Oh, that's a good idea. Well, nothing wrong with poking them and saying, hey, man, it's here. Come on, do it.
And get your butt in gear.
Yeah. Exactly. I need my dryer.
I didn't be delivered here. I just got home from work and there's a box GE appliance on the side. I'm like, oh, okay.
Nice. Well, we look forward to the follow-up on Friday night. You can let us know. Yeah, I know, right? I know. All right, everybody. We're going to head out or we're going to dance our way out right now. Appreciate everybody being here. We'll see you next Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And, all right. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for being here. Take care.
Night, all.
Yeah. Yeah, fingers frozen, call it ice on my grip. Wallet getting heavy, yeah, it's making me trip. Charge doing backflips, but I'm steady, don't slip. Never fold, got a diamond script, no eclipse. Wolves in the market, they circle and prey. I'm a bull on parade, charging every payday. Paper hands crumble, they just fade away. I'm stacking sats, building castles where I stay. Diamond hands, I ain't letting it go. Stacking up, yeah, I'm watching it grow. Riding waves, yeah, I'm surfing the flow. Up and down, but my faith never low. Diamond hands, yeah, they gleam and they shine.